We know Luba Savinock had sought all kinds of help in this troubled relationship. She talked about it with her parents and family, her husband's parents and family. She took it to her church. She took out a protective order against her husband, but in the end, nothing was enough to save her own life or the life of her unborn son. This was horrifying stuff. Here is that trench tonight, sealed off for safety reasons, but this thing 10 feet deep, 2 workers trapped down below for more than 20 minutes. This fire is in a very specific building. There are firewalls, so we're talking the blaze just ravaging this one corner right behind me. 12 residents were inside at the time. I am told by the fire marshal that all 12 residents have made it out. Everybody right now accounted for. The altercation actually unfolded right behind me in this Domino's Pizza parking lot just off Highway 52. Some neighbors tell me over in this apartment complex they could hear the commotion. One actually came running, tried performing CPR on this dying teen, but it was too late. Let me show you what they are dealing with here at picturesque NISSWA, Minnesota, the beautiful lake, Round Lake over here. But then on this side, take a look at the damage. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 trees that have toppled on this home and this property. We talked to the governor today. He clearly is angry. He is outraged by what he has seen, by what he knows, even going so far as to saying that if the people in that car last night were white, this would never have happened. So I asked him point blank, does he think the St. Anthony police officer should be behind bars today?
Hey, once again, we've heard this before, Paul. Enough is enough.
Randy, in fact, I met one neighbor today who told me, no joke, a for sale sign is going up in his front yard as soon as tomorrow. He's just sick and tired of the gun violence in his neighborhood tonight. This victim's family speaking out. They are angry, they are confused, they are heartbroken.
What I didn't understand is why somebody bother a kid like him? He don't run with nobody.
Tobias Paskin's family just can't believe the 19-year-old is gone. Gunned down on his bicycle early Wednesday morning. The young man's uncle tells me that he believes Paskins was cutting through North Minneapolis between 2 of their family's homes when the shooting occurred. Local activist Philip Murphy snapping these photos of the crime scene. Witnesses report that Paskins was riding with a buddy, apparently chased by a red Jeep with several people inside, at least one firing a weapon as they drove. Paskins was struck and eventually collapsed to the ground near 26th and Logan, right in front of an Egan Company road construction crew. Detectives recovered several casings throughout the neighborhood. Residents living nearby terrified by another violent episode that rolled right past their homes.
We just had one get shot on 26th and Irving, and we just had a shooting last week right here in front of the house.
You sick of it?
Oh, I'm sick. My house goes on the market tomorrow.
No kidding.
No kidding.
People out here killing each other for what? What did you accomplish by killing that young man? What did you accomplish? Nothing. You didn't accomplish a thing. Not a thing at all. I don't know, man. It's ridiculous.
Tobias's family tells me the young man had cared for an elderly grandmother and, quote, stayed out of trouble. As for MPD, investigators tell me they are following up on several strong leads and we're interviewing people connected to this case all afternoon long. We're live at City Hall. Paul Blume, Fox 9. Here in cabin country, the sounds of chainsaws can be heard across Round Lake. We're in NISSWA where the cleanup very much underway, and it is a high wire act. You can take a look at the crew up on top of the roof there. Some 7 trees toppled on this property alone.
Honestly, it was probably the scariest moment in my life.
The early morning storm is one that Tony Davison will never ever forget.
And I was shaking harder than I've ever shaked. I love storms. I absolutely love storms, and this one, that scared me. Tony
and his crew from SPR Motorsports were sleeping under their merchandise tent when the wind and rains ripped through the Crow Wing County Fairgrounds sometime after 3 in the morning. Made it to a hardstand bathroom structure just in the nick of time as debris went flying and their large tent collapsed right on top of their cots. The storm damage forcing fair organizers to delay opening the gates Thursday so emergency repairs could be made.
We've trained and trained for this, and tonight or last night was a perfect example of why you can't get enough training. We battened down the hatches a little extra. It could have been a whole lot worse.
Meanwhile, a few miles down Highway 18, another example of just how strong the winds were right here through central Minnesota. Babe, Paul Bunyan's Blue Ox, flattened We're talking a 5,000 to 6,000 pound steel and fiberglass beast knocked off its feet. By midday, though, Babe was back upright, greeting visitors in the Paul Bunyan Land parking lot.
We're really glad Babe is as strong as he was. I mean, it was literally a little machining to get him back up or whatever. But yeah, he's a tough guy. We're lucky. We're lucky.
With Babe leading the way, the Brainerd Lakes area showing off its strength and resiliency in the face of another vicious storm as trees were snapped and uprooted across the region. Fortunately and somewhat miraculously, law enforcement reports no significant injuries. Reporting from NISSWA, Paul Blume, Fox 9.
You know, you're running a few minutes late to work, you're on the Bluetooth, someone cuts you off. This woman insists all she did then was honk her horn at that vehicle that cut her off in the heart of Minneapolis, in the heart of rush hour. Tonight, she is home, grateful to be alive, with a bullet lodged just 3 inches from her heart.
It's really hard because all I did was honk my horn, and he tried to kill me.
Upset, angry, scared. Kat asks us not to use her full name or show her face. She's just too afraid that the men who shot her will try to track her down.
And I really hope they catch these guys that did it because I can't sleep at night.
What we can show you, though, are the bandages and the bullet holes. One tore through her stomach and is difficult to look at. Kat was shot a total of 4 times. This was her car following the near-deadly road rage incident. The way Kat tells the story, she was heading to work down busy Hennepin Avenue. She'd missed her turn and honked at the Jeep Grand Cherokee that cut in front of her. Traffic cameras snapped several images of the suspect vehicle, described by some as beige, tan, or gold. Kat vividly remembers 3 people inside.
I did see a black handgun before he shot me. He had short dreads, light skin, skinny.
The shooter was sitting in the front passenger seat. Before opening fire, Kat recalls him rolling down his window and demanding that she pull over.
5 seconds later, you know, I heard pop, 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 pop.
After the shooting, Kat was rushed to the emergency room at HCMC. She spent 2 nights here and was sent home with a couple of the bullets still lodged in her body.
I have 2 bullets in me. I have one in my arm and my bicep, and then I have one in my shoulder, 3 inches from my heart.
Just 3 inches. Kat knows she is so lucky to have survived. She just can't believe she was almost killed because she apparently did something as simple as honking her horn.
We all honk. We all, like, you know, somebody cuts in front of us, we honk our horn.
Tonight, MPD asking for the public's help. Kat absolutely believes someone out there knows who pulled the trigger.
Fox 9's Paul Blume was with Jamar's foster parents during that announcement. He joins us live now from Minneapolis. Paul?
Amy, you know, the family really describes this as a double tragedy. Of course, the anguish of losing a loved one, a 24-year-old young man, just 4.5 months ago, and now today another heartbreaking blow for them.
I can't see him pressing charges against his little police officers. I mean, I guess it's the first time for everything.
Wilma Clark just had a gut feeling. She so wanted someone to blame for the death of the young man she helped raise. She so wanted to see the 2 Minneapolis police officers charged with murder.
They need to pay and be accountable for what they did, like everybody else. They shouldn't be no different just because they're police officers.
They just killed my son for no reason.
James and Wilma Clark raised Jamar since the age of 4. Foster parents, Jamar took their last name. On Wednesday morning, we watched on a community TV in their Northside apartment building as the Hennepin County attorney crushed their spirits.
Because my heart just sank, end quote.
Oh, please.
Ringenberg believed he was going to die.
The couple remains skeptical of the official case details laid out by Mike Freeman. They believe there's absolutely no way Jamar said he wanted to die that November night.
I don't believe that for a minute.
The Clarks also want to know why no other witnesses corroborated Jamar's so-called death wish and why lethal force was necessary.
Isn't that what witnesses are for, you know, to tell what they saw? They ain't going by none of that thing. Only thing they going by is what the police officers are saying, you know.
They got out of it. I don't know how they live with themselves. Take somebody's life.
This is a very devastating blow to the family. It's actually a terrible tragedy that has happened to my nephew, but I'm going to continue to pray for justice.
Reporting live from downtown Minneapolis, Paul Blume, Fox 9.